Dorian?
Geoffrey, what are you doing?
I'm lonely.
You're lonely. Well, I'm sure that we could manage to round up some federal agents, some immigration bureau people, the Mendoran police to keep you company.
Look, sitting in that office just waiting, doing nothing is impossible. I have an idea, though. A gentleman named Dr. Anthorpe was my political science mentor at Harvard. He and I are very close.
Fine, go hide out with him.
No, but I can call him, ask his advice about this visa problem.
Your problem is to avoid arrest and deportation. Now, I suggest that you contact nobody until we can contact a lawyer for you. Geoffrey, please. I have to start to prepare for my special evening edition of View on Landview.
Dorian, if you don't believe me, then why are you sheltering me?
Oh, I do believe you. I do believe that you and the prince thought putting on that charade was a terribly romantic idea, at least for him, but I don't believe that it's the whole story.
There is nothing more. Well, except that someone considers me an undesirable alien, wants me out of the country.
Why do you really want to live here? Hmm?
Dorian, I have told you this. I want a career. I'm going to be a damn good lawyer one day. But in Mendora, my talent would just be wasted. It's not unusual, you know, thinking that this country is something very special.
Yes, there's a fortune to be made here, especially in the legal profession.
I am not concerned with fortunes. I'm talking about the freedom to be and to work and excel.
Sometimes you can talk so seriously, and yet it just doesn't fit in with the kid who would play acts that he was the crown prince. Listen, I cannot talk to you. I have a show to prepare for.
Really? What is your topic? And maybe something I can help you with.
It's a topic you could become very familiar with quite soon. Our state parole board.
Oh, never. They wouldn't dare arrest me for this.
Who is they?
The powers that be. Besides, you know, I'm very interested in this whole subject. The Pennsylvania parole system is one I need to know something about. When I start practicing. So, any special guest stars?
Special to me, a friend of mine who just recently was released from Statesville prison. Her name is Roberta Coleman.
Wow, it's unbelievable that you're friends with an ex-con.
I'm friends with people who are still cons.
Right. I read your report for the Prison Reform Commission, but I still just find it hard to believe you actually murdered a man. Well, how did you get out?
We proved that it was justifiable homicide. He, after all, was going to rape and murder my daughter.
Oh, my God. Dorian, there is much more to you than I guessed. So, well, tell me about this now. Who was your lawyer? What did the prosecution ask for? And what evidence proved it was justifiable homicide?
Geoffrey, I do not have time for this. Neither do you. Come on, quickly. Just saw Roberta walk in with Judith Sanders. Now go hide somewhere.
Hey, Dorian!
Roberta! Oh, darling, it's so good to see you looking so fine, too, in a real dress and not you know, prison gray.
And the real world, too, not a cell block.
Oh, hello. Hello. Oh, hello, Judith.
Hello. Well, I think I'll let you two just renew your friendship. I'll go find the coffee machine.
No. Why, after everything you've done to expedite my friend's parole, you must allow me to get you coffee. How do you take it?
Oh, cream and sugar.
Wonderful. You?
Regular.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Just 1 minute. Yes, Dorian Lord here. Can we get 3 regular coffees sent up to set? Yep, thank you. So, how are things going at Sanders Chemical?
I hear she's doing fine. It's really weird. I keep watching for the guards, and I forget that I can go out of that building anytime I want to. And I look at these people standing around taking everything for granted. It's weird.
That is exactly what I want you to say on the air today.
Well,
I think she has a little stage fright. So do I.
I don't think I can say anything. I'm sorry.
You have to. It's the only way we're going to talk other corporations into hiring ex-cons.
I want to help, but that's asking a lot.
No, it isn't. Because I know you won't let me down. And so, with Judith Sanders' assistance, a job was found for Roberta at Sanders Chemical Company. Tell me, what does it feel like, Roberta, to be out of prison after 10 years?
Feels great.
Does it really feel great, or do you feel a bit out of step?
Well, a lot of things have changed in 10 years, especially my son. He was 11 years old when I was convicted, and now he's 21. And my parents took care of him all those years, but now he's too much for them. I got to do something to straighten him out.
I'm sure you will. Judith, this is a problem, isn't it, with a lot of cons who get out? They find that their families have grown up, changed.
Yes, it's a hard adjustment. Some of the inmate spouses divorce and then remarry, and often people have no one to go home to.
Oh, you might have a family, but you never really know them. It's very hard to treat people normally. It's not like in prison you're either always on guard or being guarded.
Bertie, you probably know that a lot of convicts don't make it on the outside. They end up back in prison. Have you ever been tempted for just a second?
No way. I'd kill before I'd do anything to get sent back to that place.
I'm sure our audience knows that that was just a figure of speech. But surely everybody who gets out of prison feels that way at first. Judith, tell me, is there any pattern to people who end up as recidivists in the prison system?
Well, as a corollary to life, it's usually those people who have,
Just come along with us, McGrath. Real quiet and easy.
Excuse me, Dorian. Excuse me, everyone. I'm afraid I'm going to need to interrupt this live broadcast for a few words of my own. Hi there. My name is Geoffrey McGrath, and I need the help of all you lovely people out there in America. Hi there. My name is Geoffrey McGrath, and I need the help of all you lovely people out there in America. You see, I came to Landview posing as Prince Raymond of Mendora, but I'm actually Geoffrey McGrath, a recent Harvard law graduate. Not a bad person at all. I'm sorry, Dorian. There are two goons over there who are trying to cart me off to jail, or worse, out of the country.
Chip, I think we can turn a negative into a positive. Can I have a hand mic, please?
Hand mic.
Ah, good. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it seems as though WVLE doesn't just report the news, we help make the news. Indeed, there are two men standing there, and they're looking very anxious.
They're immigration officials. Someone has told them to take me into custody.
You are in this country illegally?
No, not at all. But it doesn't seem to matter to these guys.
Why don't you gentlemen come forward and introduce yourselves, perhaps show your credentials? Oh, dear. They seem to be a bit camera shy. Unless, of course, you do deserve to be taken into custody.
No, that would be the end for me.
The end. Why don't you explain to our audience what you mean by that? Oh, I suppose I should first apologize to my regularly scheduled guests, Roberta Coleman and, of course, Judith Sanders. I'm so sorry, but we seem to be having a media happening here.
yes, well, I think we should find out why this young man is impersonating Prince Raymond.
Yes, we would all love to know that.
Look, we have to do something.
Prince and I are friends.
But what?
He asked me to come here because he wasn't interested in coming to the party. He had, well, more interesting things to do. So it was just sort of a college prank. That was all this was. Meanwhile, I applied for a visa to extend my stay, but something seems to have delayed it.
Get us off the air now. We paid the electric bill. Forget it.
Oh, is there something going on here?
Yes, Dorian. As a matter of fact, these two gentlemen seem to be trying forcibly to get WVLE off the air right now.
Off the air?
Yeah.
Oh, no, on the contrary, gentlemen, we are going to stay on the air. In fact, why don't you come forward in front of our cameras instead of hiding behind them? Please. Oh, well, I guess I'll just have to come over to you.
Mrs. Lord, you're interfering in government business here.
Under whose authorization? Where are your credentials? Where's your warrant? Exactly. Let them come forward and prove who they are and why this young man should be apprehended now.
I'll be glad to help.
Wonderful.
Oh, wait. This is not democracy in action, ladies and gentlemen.
Let go of that young man until you've proven who you are.
I feel like I'm back in Statesville.
Exactly.
Look, we are federal agents.
Really? Well, then tell us where your warrant is, please.
It's in the car.
Well, go get it.
Good enough.
Look, McGrath, just come with us before we
Jim,
pick
call
you
the
up
police.
and haul
Better
you out
yet,
of here.
call Chief of police.
How about the district attorney? Will he do?
Herb, oh, you're just in time.
Goodbye, America! You will never see me again!
Show me.
Stop them!
What's going on
Stop
here?
them! Lock the door! Don't let them leave the studio! He is first with the news that really matters. I'm getting the signal from my producer that our time is up. Thank you for joining me for this special evening edition of View on Landview. Join me tomorrow at my regular time. This is Dorian Lord. Goodbye.
We're off the air. So now can everybody calm down and let us get on with our business?
Not until you tell us what you are doing here.
Exactly, and you let Geoffrey go until we find out.
Geoffrey, I thought this was Prince Raymond.
He's an imposter, a troublemaker.
We are under orders to take him to the Mandora consulate.
They do have ID, Herb. They're federal agents.
Only if you check this out, you'll find they don't have the proper papers and they're not operating through normal channels.
And they don't have any warrants.
Oh, wait, do you have any papers?
Not exactly. We received our instructions over the phone.
They tried to grab me last night. They've had plenty of time to get the proper papers.
Gentlemen, I don't know what the story is here, but obviously I'm not going to let you carry this young man off without some proof it's legal. Now, if I'm interfering with government orders, I'm sorry.
All right. We'll get the proper documents, then we'll be back. McGrath, you had better be here or at your hotel when we do get back. Safe for one more hour. Dorian, that was sheer brilliance for you to arrange for the district attorney to drop in like that.
I'm here to meet Miss Sanders now. I want to know who you are and how you got these people to defend you.
He's a fast worker. He's also a story, Herb, a big story. That is, if he ever tells us the whole truth.
Jeff, as a lawyer, I think you better tell us now before those agents come back, and we can't do anything to help you.
Just temporarily, Herb, until I could finish my show and then deal with him. Geoffrey, are you sure that it isn't Charles Sanders who sent those agents after you?
I wouldn't know. You know, you need to ask him.
I'm sure the king sent someone from Mandora to bring you back and his son.
Well, for all I know, the prince is on a plane right now, whimpering his way back to face the king.
Something doesn't make sense here. If the powers that be are trying to keep this quiet, why would those agents risk getting in front of the cameras?
Exactly. And Geoffrey, you're the only one who can explain that, which gets me back to my point that there are definitely some facts here that you are not divulging.
I am sorry, Dorian, but there are some facts I am not privy to. So, what do we do next?
Well, I think you need an attorney. I'll be happy to help you if you want.
No. Thank you.
Geoffrey, what's the matter with you? You need a lawyer.
I'm a lawyer, remember?
That hasn't done you a lot of good, has it?
We're already involved, Geoffrey.
Listen, I truly appreciate your offer. But now I think it's time that I take care of this myself.
This is very different from the way you were begging me to give you some place to hide
Well,
earlier.
I'm not all that consistent. Excuse me, I'm going to go call Raymond and see if he's been located. If he hasn't, then he's going to step forward.
Fine, you can use the phone in the production office.
Do you like my assessment of that young man?
I think he's a flake.
Yeah, exactly, and not worth all the trouble.
Yes, he is, if he's as big a story as I think he is. Herb, I'm not going to let this one go.
I agree with Dorian. I think we should find out the truth about Mr. McGrath.
Dorian, I gotta get home and make sure my kid is okay.
Oh, of course, of course. Listen, I really am very sorry that we didn't get to finish the show before Geoffrey made it into a free-for-all.
I'm not sorry. It got me off the hook.
Oh, no, it didn't. I'm going to reschedule for another time. Now, I'm going to be tied up here for a while, so I will have my driver take you home.
Well, I don't think limos are allowed on my side of town.
Oh, would you stop it? Come on. Judith, we're going to be right back.
All right, but since Herb has been on the phone for a while, maybe he's got some information. You take care, all right, Roberta?
Yeah, you watch out for that guy. I don't trust him.
I will, thanks.
Oh, Herb?
I don't know anything yet.
Well, I know some bad news. I just talked to Prince Raymond's girlfriend who's crying her eyes out. Prince Raymond was located. He is now on a plane with Charles Sanders for Mandora.
What? So much for the prince being able to help you.
Oh, I can't even get mad. It was a big deal for him to disregard his royal duty for 5 minutes, and I know that he'll crumble in front of the king.
Well, perhaps if things don't go well, you can impersonate him over there, too.
That's a good idea.
That's very funny, Herb. But, Geoffrey, really, I cannot allow you to stay here again.
I agree. I haven't seen a bed anywhere. Besides, I think I need to check out of the Vernon Inn. Can anyone recommend someplace not so expensive now that I'm not on a royal budget?
Never mind. I'll pay your bill at the Vernon Inn in exchange for the boost you've no doubt given our rating. But that's only in exchange for the whole story when the truth comes out. An exclusive, you understand?
It was a college prank. How many times do I have to tell you? But thank you. Listen, I'm exhausted. Thanks to all three of you for helping me out of this. I don't think they'll touch me now. Except at least through the proper channels.
If you change your mind about the legal services, please,
Thanks, I will remember. Good night. Good night.
Good night, Geoffrey. Oh, dear. Does anybody want to talk about this in more comfortable surroundings?
Yes, how about my place?
Wonderful, wonderful. You two go ahead, and I'll be right along behind you. Right. Would you please go and find Jim for me, please? Yes. Jim? You're not out here, are you?
Dorian.
You are.
Hey,
Never mind, Kathy, I found him.
Wonderful show. The camera work from Bruce was incredible.
Oh,
You were exquisite. The phones are ringing off the hook.
Oh, great. But listen, are you going to put an item in on the late news on this?
Yeah, of course, yes.
Good. Tell the audience. Make sure that they know that we will keep them informed as this story develops. Because believe me, Jim, this is going to be a juicy one.
The agents didn't have a warrant for his arrest.
Well, yes, that's true, but someone wanted him deported. And whoever that someone is, he may have had good reason. Or do you disagree, Dorian? Dorian?
When did you get so nautical?
What?
Well, Judith, did you help Herb decorate this suite?
No.
Oh.
Well, I like it. Now, will one of you professional decorators tell me how we can trust this Geoffrey McGrath?
Herb, I always go by my instincts. You ought to know that. I just feel that he's telling the truth. And I don't feel that Charles Sanders is.
I also have a question or two about Charles.
Since he is not my ex-husband, I have more than one or two questions, especially since he visited me this morning in the studio.
Charles was at VLE? What for?
He said he was looking for the prince, but I got him to admit that he was looking for the prince's imposter.
Did you ask him why he didn't expose Geoffrey at the party?
Yes, and he didn't want to tell me, but he did give me some advice. He told me to keep my nose out of this mysterious business.
Really?
Yes.
Ah.
You see, I think that Charles Sanders is the one who sent those immigration officers to arrest Geoffrey.
Maybe that explains it.
Explains what?
Why Geoffrey turned down my offer to defend him.
Now rings a bell, does it?
You wouldn't dare involve Charles's ex-wife in this matter. She knows nothing of your existence. If you dare even mention a word of this to her,
Well, no more threats, Grams. You see, I am holding these high cards now.
Why don't you just get on with it and say what you want?
Nothing. Silence will serve us both. As long as you and the Sanders clan just leave me alone.
Geoffrey has no way of knowing that. And if Charles is trying to deport him to Mandora, why would Geoffrey want Charles's ex trying to defend him?
And it doesn't explain why Charles is so deeply interested in this young man.
He's the ambassador to Mandora. He knows what's going on there, Dorian, and you don't. Now, this Geoffrey McGrath may be wanted for a crime back in his own country, all right?
If he were, the immigration officers would have come with a warrant.
And even if they had a handful of warrants, I'd believe Geoffrey.
So would I.
2 against 1. What am I to do?
You could convince him that I'm willing and able to defend him.
Good. While you're doing that, there's something that I can do. If Charles is hiding something, don't you think we ought to find out what it is?
Dorian, if you're thinking about taking one of your journeys into the unknown,
Darling, you have your methods, I have mine. Good night.
Night.